Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel and thank you so much for joining me this week. So I know that many of us are either starting their term, their academic year, or continuing to teach online. So I thought it might be useful for us to have a look at setting up norms and netiquette and teaching our students how to behave in the virtual or online environment. So if you're interested in this topic, then please keep on watching. Okay, so I'm just going to move myself out of the way. And this is something that I actually use with my students when I'm teaching online. So I like to give my students promises or an oath that I promise to check my emails daily during the school week. I promise to respond to course-related questions during the week about the tasks or any questions that might come up. I promise to post announcements and reminders once per week because I know that my students like to receive the reminders if there are any assignments due for the following week. I promise as a teacher to give feedback on any submitted work. And I like to promise that I conduct at least one synchronous face-to-face session per week during school hours if we're not following a normal scheduled timetable. If it's an online blended environment where I have a lot of asynchronous tasks and more student-directed learning, then I still schedule at least once a week where we meet live in a synchronous session. And then I invite my students as learners to promise to check their emails every day and to complete all the tasks set within the given time frame. I ask my learners to promise to work collaboratively if they are requested to do so. I invite my learners to ask questions and seek clarification when necessary. And of course, I encourage and invite my learners to attend any scheduled synchronous classes if they're able to. Now, I've got some other pointers here about online netiquette. So let me just move myself out of the way here, maybe here. And the first section of netiquette, online netiquette, communication that I like to encourage with my students is to tell them and remind my students to behave online as you would in person. So we're still courteous and we're still polite and we still use please and thank yous in the online environment. I like to remind my students that when they're actually communicating virtually online, not in a face-to-face, but maybe they're responding in a discussion post, that they're human, that they are actually responding to humans, and we all have feelings. So to keep that in mind, I like to remind my students to always double check their posts. And I've done this so many times where I've published a post and there's either a typo or there's a spelling mistake, or if I've used the dictate to text, sometimes the dictate misunderstands what I've said in terms of my pronunciation. And so to always double check before you actually publish anything. And then the other important side online communication netiquette areas are to never type in big capital letters, because we know that that means that you're actually shouting at somebody. And I think in the online environment, I think it's really important we use emoticons and use your Bitmoji to really express your emotions, because it's quite difficult sometimes to read the tone of just words in text. So I think putting lots of emoticons is really important. That shows your emotion in your message. And the last online netiquette recommendation is to address everybody by their name. In the online environment, people can often have a lack of sense of belonging, and we all have an identity, we all have a name, so it's important that we address everyone by their name and to always assume positive intent. Now, these were actually co-created with a class that I had a couple of years ago, and then we just use this as a model. I encourage everybody to co-create these promises that you want to give to your students and the promises that your students want to give to you, and to co-create the online communication netiquette guidelines. But this is just a starting point for everybody. I'll put a link in the comment section below, a copy of this image, so that it can maybe serve as a starting point for a discussion when we're setting up online communication netiquette. So I hope you found this week's video useful. Please put a comment in the section below and share any of the different online communication netiquette ideas and strategies you use with your students. And I hope to see you next time. Bye.